definition of employee engagement and how has that evolved over time?
We're definitely seeing engagement, and the concept of engagement has evolved, as I would call it, and clients and organisations are asking different questions now than they were 10 years ago, when they were thinking about, are people satisfied? That's all they cared about. And then it changed, and they wanted to understand if they were committed and whether they could retain them. And then more recently, we saw them starting to think about, are they aligned to the strategy that's important to us, and are they putting in discretionary effort? So over a period of about 20 years, we did see it change a lot. But more recently, we're starting to see organisations think again about whether there's more to the story. Can we sustain those levels of engagement, particularly those who have been doing well, who may have been seeing signs of stress and burnout in their employees or higher turnover. And now we're thinking about engagement being fundamental. It's a really important piece. But also thinking about, are people enabled in their local work environments? So they're supported to be able to get things done. And as well as whether they can bring the right level of energy to work every day and sustain that level of energy in getting work done and helping the business be successful. You want that great sense of passion, but you don't want to burn people out in achieving it either.
So you use the word engagement, enablement, and energy.
Yes. The 3 E's, as we call it.
Absolutely. Ajith, do you want to elaborate on that?
Yeah, so if you were to think about how the world of employee engagement really has evolved, there was a time when everybody was chasing what is called satisfaction. So satisfaction was the be all and end all. And I think it was quickly realized that it's not correlating to business outcomes. So people could be satisfied about anything in the environment, but that need not necessarily result in a certain business outcome. And that's when the world probably turned towards loyalty first, and then realized that loyalty can be full of golden cages where people come in, they're loyal to you for forever, but they're not engaged, so they're not being productive. Unless the organization is able to create enablement, which is the hard and the soft resources that are required to enable an employee to deliver. Maybe managers, maybe the right systems and processes, communication, and the right levels of energy, which is making the employee feel well, wanted, and then rewarded intrinsically because of work.
When we're looking at engagement and engagement programs, is it something that HR is driving to say, well, this is my work and this is what I have to do? Or do you really see that businesses are feeling the need for it and are valuing what it could do to businesses? Is it driven by what it can do to business, or is it really driven by HR saying that we want to keep ourselves occupied on programs and engagement is one of our areas?
Yeah, and best practice organisations, it is driven by the business itself. They see the return on investment in ensuring that employees are engaged and sustainably engaged. And those organisations, you see the leaders being the driving force behind this, and that's where you get the greatest success. And we know that the things that drive engagement are come down to the leaders and the vision for the organisation. People feel that they're working within an organisation that's successful and has integrity. They're empowered to come up with new ideas to help that success. They're all factors that are really important and can't come from HR. It needs to come from within.
And I think in the Indian context, I think companies are increasingly realizing that people are really the differentiator. So everything else can be copied, and pretty much we are increasingly going towards being a service-driven economy. The share of services in GDP is only increasing. So people are really what drives services.
The data though is worrying. I mean, if you look at the Towers Watson 2012 results, it shows that only 2 out of 5 are actually engaged.
Yes.
And the rest, 3 out of 5 are actually struggling with overload and pressure and stress. So if we are saying that people are really our differentiators, but the data is showing that we're not in a very good shape, what's the solution?
Those who are going to be really helping employees, providing that sense of enablement so that they can get the job done, they feel supported, they feel as though their career aspirations are being considered, they're being supported through change, because change is the new normal. To be honest, it's every organisation continues to vary, but also giving and ensuring those managers have the capabilities to be really authentic and honest with their employees.
The best organizations are really doing the basics right, which means if there is uncertainty, they are communicating and letting employees know that there is uncertainty. You know, so that there is no room for individual judgment in that sense to come in and grapevining to happen and all of that, which are clearly drivers of disengagement.
Communication is just fundamental. Best organisations do it really well.